TagHelpers enable server-side code to participate in creating and rendering HTML elements in Razor files. In comparison to HTML helpers, TagHelpers create a friendly HTML development experience. There's a rich IntelliSense environment for creating HTML and Razor markup, and it's a way to make you more productive and able to produce more robust, reliable, and maintainable code using the information only on the server. So in this lecture, I'm going to show you how to add the tag helper dependency in your project.json file, utilize a using statement to incorporate the tag helper library in our Vue imports, and just examine some of the differences between an HTML helper and a tag helper in ASP.NET Core. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to go to our project.json file, and we need to go down here and we need to add that dependency. So we're going to go to Microsoft.ASP.NET Core MVC, and we're going to go to tag helper, and then we're going to put the latest version, put a comma, save that, let that dependency restore in our project. So now that we have that inside of our project, then we want to go to the Vue imports file. So let's go over here, and in the Vue imports, we are going to add the tag helpers across all of our project. So let's go over here and let's put add tag helper. And once we click Add Tag Helper, let's put this for all the tag helpers. Inside of that, let's put Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC.Tag Helper. And once we do that, now we've incorporated in our Vue imports this statement to add the tag helpers across all of our views. So now we'll be able to utilize all the different tag helpers across all of our different views. So in this case, let's look at a little bit of differences between the HTML helpers and the tag helpers. In previous versions of MVC, you have utilized inside of your views different statements. So here, let's just go down here and let's look at, for example, a text box. So you could come over here, and this is an HTML helper. So let's say you're going to put HTML dot text box, and then inside of that, you're going to pass parameters to associate inside of your text box. Now, I don't have a model to associate, but I just want to show you the syntax. You would do something like this, and then you would put, let's say, email, and then inside of that, you would also say, let's say, a new class, and you would put something like this, and you would say at class equals, and if we're using bootstrapped, we would do something like form control. We would say new right here, and inside of that, this would be associated with our text box, and we would have a class when the HTML rendered as a form control. So this is right here an HTML helper, and you can see that some of the markup is not easy to use or not simplistic for a designer or a UI developer, because if they don't know server-side code associated with Razor, this could be quite confusing to them. But what we can do, now that we have the tag helpers, we could come in here and we can use regular HTML markup, and we can say ASP4 equals email, and then we can come in here and we can say class equals form control. Now, we're not utilizing Bootstrap, but I just want to show you right here. Look at that. Look how much more simple the tag helpers are compared to the HTML helpers. And this is the key to utilizing the tag helpers itself. The syntax is much cleaner than utilizing the HTML helpers. Tag helpers attach to HTML elements in Razor views, while HTML helpers are invoked as methods interspersed with HTML and Razor views. So look at the difference between these two items. Which one will be simpler to read if you have somebody else looking at your markup? So this is why we want to incorporate and utilize tag helpers within our project. Now you're probably looking at this and saying, well, these tag helpers kind of look like web server controls in ASP.NET Web Forms. Well, they're not. Tag helpers do not own the element they are associated with. They simply participate in rendering the element and content. ASP.NET server controls are declared and invoked on the page. Web server controls allow you to add functionality to the client document object model that they're using. Tag helpers do not. Tag helpers can modify the tag and content of HTML elements that they're scoped to, but do not directly modify anything else on the page. Web server controls utilize the system.component model to implement the runtime. The tag helpers do not depend on this, when it is rendered. Big difference between web server controls and tag helpers. They are not the same when they're implemented on the page, but this is the difference in markup between the two and how they will be associated inside of your Razor pages. As you can see, the markup is quite different between the two. I would prefer to use tag helpers over HTML helpers when you can. In the subsequent lectures, we will actually build a form associated with model data, and we will look at the different tag helpers inside of our page. At the end of this lecture, we will build the layout associated with our web app. We will utilize some of these different tag helpers associated with links, associated with our form to log in. We will be able to look at all of the different aspects of the tag helpers in our project.